The threats between Donald Trump and Elon Musk only get crazier and crazier as the most disastrous, destructive, and let's be real, delicious political civil war we have ever seen within the MAGA movement continues to play out before us. Donald Trump said he would take away Elon's government contracts. Elon went public over Donald Trump's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, then said he should be impeached for it. And now Donald Trump is responding with the most shocking threat yet: deportation. We are going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we can get into this latest threat against Musk, this deportation threat, I want some context in the latest on all this story from Nicole Wallace right here.
The alliance between the world's richest man and the world's most powerful, Donald Trump, is imploding right now in real time before our very eyes, with Trump and Musk tearing into each other inside the Oval Office and online. It appears that Elon Musk, after donating $277 million of his own money to the Trump campaign, after serving as Donald Trump's political heat shield for the first 5 months of his second presidency, did so while doing permanent damage to his business empire, to the federal government, and his personal reputation and legacy. But after all that, even Elon Musk is not immune from the golden rule that for Trump, loyalty is a one-way street. But Musk is not going quietly into the night. After days of Musk trashing Donald Trump's signature domestic policy, his big ugly bill, as Elon Musk called it, Trump finally broke his silence. Watch.
Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate. He knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody, and he never had a problem until right after he left. He said the most beautiful things about me, and he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next.
Well, Trump was right about that. That is indeed what is happening next. Musk, who's now a former special government employee with basically the same status as the rest of us, a private citizen who can post all of his big feelings on the internet, is doing just that. He is lashing out, reminding his 220 million followers on the platform he owns, X, of his potentially decisive $277 million political gift to Donald Trump. He writes this, quote, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election. Democrats would control the House and Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate." Musk went on to say, quote, all caps, "Such ingratitude." It went on and on and on. Trump even threatened to cancel Musk's billions of dollars worth of contracts, to which Musk fired back, accusing Donald Trump of, wait for it, covering up his role in the Epstein files. Yes, Elon Musk went there. The Epstein files. Now, the Epstein files are government documents from the investigation into the disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It takes up a lot of heat and energy on the right. But as sordid as this all is, and it gets worse, let's stop here for a second. Why does any of this matter, right? Two tarantulas in a bowl. Why does it matter? Well, here's why. When the most powerful person in our government fights with the richest person in the world, we, as a public, get to peer deep inside the most corrupt and superficial alliance in American political history. And as they claw and strike rhetorically at one another, they affirm our deepest concerns and suspicions. Trump confirms that Musk was always only in it to enrich his companies, and Musk confirms that Trump was always for sale.
Nicole Wallace made what is the most important point, and a point that I will continue to come back to as we discuss Elon Musk calling out and going public with this attack on Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. These people knew these disgusting things about each other from the start. Elon knew he could buy Donald Trump, and Donald Trump knew that Elon was corrupt in the same way that Elon knew that Donald Trump had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein that was keeping him from releasing a file he claimed to care about. These are not good people. We obviously know that. They're just exposing how bad they are individually and showing the most dark and angry parts of themselves and just what is such a beautiful catastrophe. And the latest example from one of Donald Trump's top advisors shows how heated and potentially legally volatile this will get. Take a look at what Steve Bannon is now saying about what should happen to Elon Musk. A new report reveals Donald Trump's top aide and advisor, Steve Bannon, is now calling for Elon Musk to be deported. Elon Musk said that Donald Trump should be impeached over the big, beautiful bill and replaced with J.D. Vance. And I don't even think it's just over the big, beautiful bill at this point. I think it is for a whole host of reasons that Elon, as he continues to unravel, will shed more light on. We're about to get the closest and most chaotic look at the corruption and criminality in this administration because of this civil war that we ever could have expected. But it continues, for this current moment, to be focused on Trump's relationship with Epstein. Just look at what Elon Musk posted minutes ago as this all unravels. In his second post about Trump's relationship to Epstein, Elon shared this video from MSNBC on Twitter that I want to take a look at right here.
Of a Mar-a-Lago party shows Trump giving Epstein his personal attention. Donald! 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 The footage, shot in November of 1992, before Trump opened the resort as a club, shows the future president surrounded by cheerleaders for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins, capturing Trump's fun-loving bachelor lifestyle for an appearance on Faith Daniels' NBC talk show.
We're going to get great ratings in your show.
Trump is surrounded by women as music blares in the background. After a while, Trump goes to greet 3 new guests, among them the financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Come on in. Go inside.
More than a decade before his guilty plea on state prostitution charges. Later in the footage, Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man and telling Epstein about the cameras. Though exactly what they say is difficult to understand as they discuss the women and their appearances, Trump gestures to one and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot." And then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter. But as the president...
It's really interesting to me that Elon Musk thinks he gets to position himself as some sort of hero in calling out Donald Trump's relationship to Jeffrey Epstein when, one, he has a relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell and probably did with Epstein as well. But Elon isn't saying he discovered all of this today. So you willingly hid this information about Donald Trump just because it meant your company's getting billions of dollars. You're admitting to that. Sure, it's fun to watch them attack each other, but you're really continuing to destroy your own reputation as well. And it's funny because Elon clearly knows this is the most damaging point for Donald Trump and MAGA. It's why we're seeing so many turn on Trump actively right now. If you go to Truth Social and scroll the responses to his tweets about Elon, people are furious. But it is important to keep in mind that what we really need to focus on, of course, is what started all of this, Donald Trump's budget, which is going to kick millions of people off of their health care and destroy our country for generations if it is allowed to pass. That's what Elizabeth Warren is focusing on, and I want to take a look at that in this clip right here.
Mr. Chairman, so Donald Trump ran for president on the promise to lower costs, a promise that he abandoned almost as soon as he got elected. He also promised his, quote, rich as hell donors that he would deliver big tax breaks. So right now, Senate Republicans are working overtime to pass billionaire tax giveaways, partly paid for by kicking 14 million people off their health care, and partly paid for by using magic math to pretend that those tax giveaways don't cost as much as they actually cost. Now, we've seen this play before. In 2017, Trump's first tax giveaway to the wealthy was supposed to cost just $1.5 trillion. And that was after there were a bunch of budget gimmicks to keep the total down. But even that wasn't a big enough giveaway. After the bill passed, the Trump Treasury Department drafted regulations to implement the new law, and corporations sent armies of lobbyists in to write even more loopholes into the tax laws. Now, Mr. Morrissey, you were Deputy General Counsel at Treasury at this time, so you may remember lobbyists from foreign banks like Credit Suisse and Barclays one big new international tax loophole for loans that they make to U.S. subsidiaries. Do you know how much those big banks pocketed from that extra giveaway engineered in the Treasury Department?
Senator, I'm familiar with many of the regulations under TCJA, but not the answer
Not
to
that
your
one?
specific. Not the answer to your specific
Well, then I will
question.
tell you, it was $50 billion, according to the Joint Committee on Taxation. Now, today, President Trump and congressional Republicans are working to pass a new set of tax cuts for billionaires, millionaires, and giant corporations. This one, the price tag is around $4 trillion. And this time, they are planning to pay for it in part by slashing Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act by nearly $1 trillion and kicking 14 million Americans off their health care. It is handout time for billionaires and austerity for everyone else. Mr. Morrissey, you're nominated to be general counsel at Treasury, meaning you would help in the drafting and the implementation of this bill if it passed, maybe adding another $50 billion tax loophole here and another $50 billion tax loophole there. So, Mr. Morrissey, I just make sure you think through what this means. Do you know how many people will have to lose their Medicaid coverage just to pay for one of those $50 billion tax loopholes out of a $4 trillion Trump tax giveaway?
Senator, if I were to be confirmed, I would be committed to making sure that folks working at Treasury on tax issues are clear that the policy judgments in these space belong to the Congress.
That's not the question I'm asking here, Mr. Morrissey. I know you'd like to duck this one. My question is, when you create a $50 billion tax giveaway, do you know how many Americans lose Medicaid coverage to make up $50 billion? Do you know what those numbers are? These are just numbers.
Senator, again, the policy judgment is with the Congress, and
no,
Treasury
it's not a policy question I'm asking you. If you're going to be over at the Treasury Department and you're talking about being in a position where you can actually create a $50 billion loophole, and I know you could do that because you've done it in the past, I just want to make sure when you're doing the pluses and minuses of doing this, you have some idea how many Americans will lose their Medicaid coverage in order to make up for a $50 billion loophole.
This civil war is one of the most shocking developments of the Trump presidency, and of course will continue to be. We are going to be covering it every single second on this show. I'm not going to be sounding as great as I usually do covering it. As I have said, I just got my wisdom teeth out this week, so it's going to take me some time in recovering and being able to speak as well as I should, but I appreciate y'all dealing with that. Listening to me sound not as perfect as usual. It really goes a long way. And if you want to support the work that this channel is doing, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.